Afternoon. Hope you're doing well. Things are well. Hope you're getting online, and just want to encourage you a little bit today. Just finished my almost finished my sermon prep for Sunday, so I'm super excited about preaching in Romans chapter 1 verse 18. It's rough. Be ready on Sunday. Wear your seatbelt. It's rough, but it gets better. Paul takes a while to tell us the bad news before he gets to the good news. I wanted to find out if anybody's watching. Lorraine Grimes is watching. Y'all know Lorraine is one of the key players in feeding in the food bank. Oh, and Zeph right there with her in the food bank ministry. So super proud of you guys. Freddie Bonilla, remember Freddie gave his testimony on Easter, is watching. Freddie's a great dude, him and his wife. These things are going too fast. Tammy Jackson, she said hey to everybody. So anyway, I just did that to let everybody get online. But I'm going to put that down because it's too distracting to me. Because I can't, I've said I got ADD and people get all super spiritual and say, quit speaking that over yourself. And I guess there's words, there is life and death in the power of the tongue. But the reality is, maybe I don't have ADD, but my mind jumps around. Anyway, you don't want to know about that. But I'm in the book of Philippians. I started yesterday, and it's the epistle of joy. And through 16 times in 4 chapters, Paul mentions joy. And the key thing is rejoice in the Lord always. And again, I say rejoice. He's like a coach in the locker room encouraging his team to get in the game and do it with joy. Because joy, it can change everything. Joy is an accelerator. Joy brings enthusiasm. Joy does so much. And the first thing that he hits is joy in relationships. Because how many know if you don't have joy in your relationships, if your relationships aren't right, then everything seems to suffer. Because we're made for that. And we're finding that out through this COVID-19. Maybe I'm learning more than anything. I don't like being isolated. I don't like being alone. I wasn't made for that. That's why God told Adam in the book of Genesis, it's not good for man to be alone. It's not good for us to be separated and in quarantine. And I'm not talking about the disease and all that stuff. I'm talking about just in relationship building, in the relationship, how God created us. We were meant to be together, and that's why there's over 50 one another's in the Bible. Love one another, encourage one another, serve one another, forgive one another, come alongside, submit to one another. And when our relationships are bad, everything is bad. And so this is what Paul says. He'll give us 4 things. And I don't know how many I'll cover today, but he'll give us 4 things about relationships. And these are important, and I'll just be brief. But he says, I thank my God in all my remembrance of you. Philippians 1:3. Here's what Paul's saying to the church of Philippi. Every time I think about you, I give thanks. Every time I remember you, appreciation wells up. Every time I look back on our time together, I thank God. Here's the principle. If you want joy in your relationship, principle number 1, be grateful for the good in people. Here's your assignment. Find the qualities, find the good things, look for the best in people and try to magnify that. Recognize people's potential, not their shortcomings. Celebrate their gifts, not their flaws. Emphasize their strengths, not their weaknesses. Focus on the best and try to forget the rest. If you want joy in your relationships, be grateful, find it, look for it, hunt for it, for the good in people. My number 1 priority relationship is my relationship with my wife, Angie. And granted, there are a few things that irk me about her. And she would say there are multiple things that irk her about me. Did I say that right? That she gets upset with me or doesn't like about me. And if I think on those, or if she thinks on those few things, it drives us apart. And so I want to every day, I want to think on the reality that, she might, I don't know, the little things that she does that irk me are so little and so minute that I don't even want to mention them. But if I focus on, man, she loves Jesus. And Proverbs 31 says a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. If I focus on the fact that she wants the very best for me and the kids, like she has proven over 20 6, 7 years. She sacrificially gives. She unconditionally loves. She selfishly serves. She's a strong leader. And I'm giving you just this example so that you'll focus on the good in people. She has a confident spirit. She's super stable. Like, she's not up and down. She's real steady. She has a compassionate heart. She wants every kid in Chesterfield County to have a safe place and parents that love them and care about them. She's a lifelong learner. When we got married, her education got cut short. So to marry me, she had to give up school, which was, I mean, it made perfect sense when your husband's making $17,000 a year. Who needs an education? So she gave it all up to come and partner with me in ministry. And she cut coupons and babysat kids and drove an old Plymouth Voyager van for years and years and years. And again, I could think about the stuff that irks me and irritates me and bring those to light. Or I could think about the sacrifices and the love the sacrifices she's made and the love that she gives. Here, I don't want to belittle this point, but the point is, make sure you're confident to see the good, be grateful for the good in people. You say, well, what about the people that are just a thorn in my flesh I can't get along with? And let me give you 2 other principles that I teach and preach a lot. Hurting people hurt people. When people respond in a negative way, when they rise up, when they're constantly unsuccessful, people don't want you to be successful. People are dealing with so much on the inside, past hurt, past regret, past pain, that they lash out. It's not even a reaction necessarily to you. It's not what's going on around them. It's what's going on the inside of them. Like I struggle with an ingrown toenail every now and then. It flares up, pops up. And the other day, Micah stepped on it, and it shot pain through my whole body. I wanted to kill him for stepping on my toe. But it wasn't him. Like, it wasn't his fault. It was my fault. I've not dealt with it. I'm not going to a doctor. I'm not taking the necessary steps to heal that toe. So every bump, everything that comes against it hurts. That's how hurting people are. Hurting people, they hurt people. So what do? You don't take it personally. It usually has nothing to do with you. You look beyond the person and you realize that they're struggling and dealing with a problem. Something in their past is negatively affecting their present. And you love them in spite of. You encourage them. You try to build them up. And you still try to find the best in them. Let me give you another principle. It's called the exchange principle. Instead of putting others in their place, put yourself in their place. I'm talking about how to have joy in your relationships. And here is a key thing. Like we always want to be quick to judge, and we judge everybody else's motives, and we always think whatever. And I'm just saying, if you want joy, don't do that. There was a story of a man that was in the emergency room who had 3 kids, and they were pinging off the wall. They were all under 5, and they're going nuts, crazy, tearing the place apart. And everybody in the emergency was looking at him, just thinking, man, he's an unresponsive dad. He lacks discipline. Those kids need a beating. I can't believe that he's just sitting there while they go crazy. And one woman finally said, hey, can I help in any way? Can I help you with your kids? And he looked up from his hands being from his face being in his hands, and he said, I just lost my wife and the mother of these 3 kids. And everything in the room changed. Now it wasn't a bad dad, it was a grieving dad. Now it wasn't a dad who couldn't take care of his kids, it was a dad who just lost the most important thing to him. Before we start judging and predetermining and questioning motives of other people, before we judge people, instead of putting people in their place, we got to put ourselves in their place. Those 2 other principles line with the first principle. Be grateful for the good in people. If you want joy in your relationships, if you want not just to be under the burden and the weight of them, but to really enjoy them, look for, hunt for, find, point out, call out, speak to the good in people. Everybody has something in there that you can point to that's good, and focus on that instead of the bad. And it'll help you in your relationships. Aren't you grateful for relationships. And aren't you grateful for the relationship that we have with Jesus? And I want to pray for you. Lord, I thank you that you made way for us to have a personal relationship with you. And I pray that out of that will flow a relationship with others, that we'll love each other like you love us, that we'll forgive each other like you've forgiven us, that we'll serve one another like you left heaven and came to serve us. God, that our relationship with you would be of utmost importance, and our relationship with others would be just as important. Your word says to love God with all your heart and to love your neighbor as yourself. Lord, may we grow in our relationships. As we're quarantined, as we're spending more time with our spouses and our kids than maybe we have in a long time, I pray that we will find the good, that we'll search for it, that we'll speak to it, and we'll tell them about it. We'll use our words to speak life into one another. Lord, just protect us. I pray for every home today that you'll protect them, that you'll lead them, that you'll guide them, that you'll provide for them. And I do pray that the joy of the Lord will be their strength, that they'll experience joy unspeakable and full of glory. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Talk to you tomorrow.